Welcome to the Poochmobile. This is Bear. I'm Lola. I started this project as my COVID project. I had been living in Los Angeles and I got this terrible feeling that something terrible was going to happen, and I thought it was because my mom is old and not doing great, and my rent control apartment was about to be outgrown. So one day I just decided to move back east. My business was just humming along, but nothing exciting was happening, and there were so many opportunities out here. What I wanted to do was a lot of traveling and a lot of fashion shows around the country and meeting other dogs, some of our Instagram friends, maybe, sort of developing a little community. So I moved back east, and here I am. I watched a whole lot of videos. I've always wanted to have a tiny house, and I watched a ton of videos seeing what people were doing to vans, and it seemed like something that I could do because it wasn't crazy money. I didn't have to buy a truck and a house, and I just fell in love with the idea. So one day excuse me, one day I went and ordered a van and started planning. Now, as a designer, planning is your main thing, and when you're dealing with a tiny space like this, every square inch counts. So what I did was I first decided what my must-haves were. I wanted a lot of space, a lot of floor space. I wanted to be able to entertain. I wanted all the amenities so I could eventually turn it in, get RV status for the license plate. So then I just started drawing out the floor plans, and I'm about to show you what came out of it. Okay, so this is the wet bath. It will double as a closet when I go to fashion events. I also put a mirror. I wanted the barn door. I saw somebody else do a barn door and I loved it. This is the kitchen. I wanted it to be narrow, so what I did was I bought a fridge that was a 12-volt fridge. That was my two most expensive things, were my electrical system and my fridge. And I felt that was the place to put the money, and if I want to upgrade to a better toilet someday I can. If I want to add a heater someday I can. There's a lot of stuff I can add later, but the 12-volt fridge uses the least amount of energy. It's the only thing that runs 24/7. And if you had a 120-volt fridge, you have to have the inverter on all the time. The inverter itself eats up a lot of electricity. Plus, that kind of fridge eats up a lot of electricity. So, I don't know how you would do it unless you had some crazy battery bank, and then you're put your electricity to better use, cooking hot water. My setup is really good because the only thing I need hot water for the only thing I need 120-volt AC for is cooking and hot water, and those are very limited times of the day. So I can leave the inverter turned off most of the time. I got this special thing here. It goes into the 12-volt cigarette lighter socket, and it's for a MacBook Pro. So I can power my computer and my phone on 12-volt, and my lights are all on 12-volt, and my fan is on 12-volt, my water heater, my fridge. No, my water heater is not on 12-volt. My water pump is on 12-volt. Anyway, let's see what else. This is my dining area. You can see it's nice and comfortable for 3 or 4 people. This table is a Lagoon table. Initially, I put it coming out this way, and it was horrible. I had to move it to over there. It comes off and drops down on here, and then those back pillows cover that, and you have a nice bed area. So the 12-volt fridge, I'll go back to that for a minute. It's a Isotherm Cruise 42, I think is the name of it, and it has a remote compressor. So that's under this seat with my water tank, and that means the fridge only takes up 14 inches or something depth, which means I can have an 18-inch counter. I developed the size of this counter based on my air fryer. It sits perfectly right here. Right now it's inside because I use it inside. This is like a giant suitcase. depending on the kind of trip I'm taking, I'll fill it with different things. If I want to cook on the Instapot, I'll bring that. If I want to cook with the air fryer, I'll bring that. If I'm going camping, I'll bring the cot and my whole outdoor setup of butterfly chairs and awning. If I'm going to a fashion show, I'll bring my clothes in the closet and really nothing else. And me and Bear. These are my shelves. Initially I had planned for, you know, the cabinets that everybody does, but they take up so much space and they're so heavy. This open feeling is perfect because it gives the feeling of space. You can see I just got taller because I built my dining area about 7 inches up from the floor. The reason for that was so that I could fit my water tank, because my water tank needed a certain height. It's under here. And when you sit down, you don't want your feet floating in the air. So this is sort of the standard height of a chair. I wish I'd gotten 4-inch foam instead of 5-inch foam, because then it would have been a little bit lower and it would have given the illusion of a little bit more space. When you're designing something like this, something this small, what you want to do is reduce all the proportions. That way you trick the eye into thinking it's a bigger space than it is. So when I have an 18-inch counter by 34, you know, people don't say, oh, what a small counter, because it's proportionately correct. It's got this small sink. Okay, so now I'm going to move the camera. Okay, this is a new angle. So this is the butterfly chair. And one of the things I wanted by having this feeling of space was I wanted to have a rug, because a homey environment always has a rug. And I found this Flotaki rug on an Etsy page, and it's got like 4 or 5-inch tall Flotaki pieces. It's so on your feet, it's so nice. So my first trip is to the Balloon Festival in upstate New York. I'm meeting one of the people I met at the Promaster forum. I'm staying at this wonderful place by Harvest Host. Harvest Host is this service you pay like $99 or $95 a year, and you can spend one night at all these different places, and they are wineries and breweries and farms, and this is like an artisan marketplace, Canal Street Marketplace of Fort Edwards. But the guy was so nice when I called him up and set up my arrangement, so I'm going to spend the night there. They have this wonderful like farmer's market type thing that evening, so I'll go to that. Then the next day morning at the crack of dawn, I'm going to drive to the Balloon Festival, meet up with my friend, hang out all day. Then I'm going to leave the Balloon Festival and go to a place that has maple products. And I love maple syrup. I found this recipe for whiskey sours. I make them with bourbon and fresh lemon and maple syrup, and then you sort of shake it up, and it's so good. The maple syrup is the perfect addition. Okay, see that? Joy. My intention is to use this for fun, but also for business type things, going to fashion shows, and I wanna hook up with some of the people that are my Instagram and Facebook dog friends, and maybe organize them a little bit, and when I get a couple of dogs in one area, we'll think of something really good to do that would totally just bring joy to someone in their community, whether it's a person that's in trouble, or a rescue that needs help, or a cause that needs focus, like voting. So then I'll travel to their town, and we'll plan the event, and we'll do the event, and then we'll have a dinner party in my van with the whole outdoor setup in some beautiful place where we can just sit back and get trashed and discuss the joy we brought. So when I was designing the van, I was like, you know what? This has to speak to who I am and what I want to do. And since joy is the mission statement of my business, we bring joy, I searched for the most perfect wood cutout of joy, and I found it at an Etsy shop. Then here's another one of my things that speaks to who I am. Be bold, be true, be kind, be you. And that is how people should live their life. And it's one of the beauties of this whole van thing is that you design this thing that completely mirrors who you are, what you want to do, and then you go out and do it. If you're somebody that likes hiking and travel, then you build your bed higher. You have bikes and stuff underneath. If you wanted to live in a van and explore the world, then you add more storage than I have, and focus on things that way. I mean, it's just the perfect thing. It's like an extension of who you are. Okay, so this is sort of your high up view. This is my barn door and my shower. This is the kitchen with all of that stuff. I got this tile from a Mexican, a store on Etsy from Mexican tile. This is my wonderful tin ceiling. That's from American Tin Company, and basically I wanted tin because I knew I was going to be the only one that was able to install everything, and tin was 24-inch squares. I could easily put them up myself. The thought of 10-foot boards of wood, me putting them in the ceiling, was like a tough idea, and also that seemed so heavy for the ceiling. My biggest concern was I didn't want to be killed by my own creation, and I was really afraid if God forbid there was ever an accident that things would go flying. So there's furling boards placed in such a way that it's every 24 inches, so that then the tin things, I spray painted them with the electric sprayer to match the walls. I nailed them, actually screwed them up into the wood. If you have a nail gun, that probably would be better, but I didn't have it. Then I screwed these pieces of wood on, and you could still see shadings here because it's pressed up against the textural tin. So I took this white stuff and put it in there and smeared it with my finger, and it turned out really nice. I'm very happy. This is my skylight, so at night I can sit in bed and look up at the stars. This is one wall that has a shelf. I wanted everything opened, and I found there was so much white, and the white was so much whiter than I expected it to be, that I felt I needed to put something there to ground things so it wasn't quite so burned out. And I wanted a wood color that was different than the wood color. Come here, baby. That was different than the wood color of the floors and of the countertops, which are dark espresso. So I got this like red oak color. And then I bought these jars. They're all plastic. I didn't want any glass. These are pretty secure in there, and nothing here is too heavy. I bought these at the dollar store. It's all silicone tools for the kitchen. I got this spice rack. It's magnetic. I thought that was really good. I bought these from Golden Rabbit. They're metal plates. The only glass in the whole place are these coffee mugs, or actually they're going to be wine glasses. And they are on hooks that have a little latch so they can't fall off. Now, driving short distances, they kind of clatter and clang, so I leave them up just if I'm going to the grocery store because the noise doesn't bother me. But if I was taking a long trip, I would take them and put them in the sink. So the way my shower pan is, I'll post a picture of it, is it has a ledge, then it goes down, and then it has like a little sort of 18 by 18 square by like 7 feet tall, almost like a mini bathtub, but that's where the shower fills and drains. And the nice thing about that is then the toilet can sit on the high part, and I bought a camping toilet for like $85, and it's short and squat so that but because it's on that step, it's sort of at the normal height of a toilet. So that worked out really good. So I bought this faucet very early on. If I were to redo it, I probably wouldn't use this faucet. I ended up putting it on an angle because it just was too big. Like I had said before, you want to drop all your proportions down, because if you don't, the one big thing's going to stick out. Now luckily this is a skinny sort of sculptural piece that's too big, so it actually looks fine. It doesn't bother me at all. I do have a soap dispenser. I wanted everything to be as installed as possible. I got these cool hooks from Wayfair. I think it's a really neat little hook. And that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this. Bear and I can't wait to hit the road and start meeting some of the other doggies. And if you are a doggy in an area, please comment below or follow me on Instagram at Lola and Pooch. And maybe when I come to your area, we can do something that makes the world a better place. Because God knows the world needs to be a better place right now. Right?